This video is brought to you in part by Rickard Art. Rickard Art designs packaging, logos, posters, invitations, and more. He also does murals for your home or business. Check him out at rickard-art.com. Okay, so it's day 6. It's 9 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time, and I am getting ready to start working on the outline, the outline of the game demo for GDEX. And basically, what that involves is, you know, writing down kind of a script and scripting out what's going to happen in the demo and then breaking that down. So let's say Jack, has, let's say Jack's crashed his plane. It's, not good. God, I can't think. That's how long the day's been. I just can't think. Say Jack's crashed his plane. He's escaped the wreckage, and it's now time for him to get to the bad guy at the end. And that's sort of what I want to do. I want to introduce the moment where it's the end. And I know that's used a lot now, but in the game that I would, in the way that I want to make the game, I want to start off where he's at the end. It's the 1940s version, and he's getting to the end of the war, and he's only like a few blocks away from the man in the high castle. The guy in the tower, whatever. I haven't designed what the final building structure is going to look like, but he's there and he's going to see it. Like when he crashes down into the street, he's going to be able to look down across, how you can like look down buildings and you can see other buildings far away. Well, he's going to see that spire like structure in the distance, and we're going to be able to establish that he's here, this is it, and he's going to make his way to the end. And that's going to be sort of the goal of the demo, is to keep a very short version of this, journey from crash to we'll call it castle to make it easy. So from the crash to the castle, maybe that's what I'll call the outline. From the crash to the castle. That is the gist of the outline. And along the way, you say, okay, he's going to fight bad guys. He's going to have a mini boss halfway through, and then you're going to get to the end where that's the suspense, and then you cut the demo, leave them wanting more. And then that's your overall outline. And then you're going to break it down, bit by bit, scene by scene. And then you're going to break it down even further than that, and you're going to say, what do I need for this scene? What needs to happen for this scene? And just map them out little by little. And eventually what you're going to end up with is a script and storyboards, so to speak. And you're going to be able to plot the course of the demo that way. And outline, what exactly you're going to need, what I'm going to need to make sure that it works, and to make sure that it's only time is spent on things that will be needed in the demo. Again, the point of making this thing is to get it in front of people and to gauge the public and find out what they like, what they don't like about it. Because frankly, there is no point in going into a huge production and then finding out nobody liked it. So that's what this is. And if we get to GDEX, and if we show the game and the public response is not favorable, then we're going to move on to the next idea, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but I already got it up here. And I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. The point is that I only want to spend so much time trying to develop these ideas. And I don't want things to be buttered up, right? And that's what the public response is for. That's what the, getting the feedback from the public and getting them to try it firsthand is going to be the best thing to do. And, fail faster. That's what those one player guys said. They're like, the sooner you fail, the sooner you know. And you can move on and get better and better and find out what fails, or find out what failed and then learn from your failures. And eventually, hopefully, you make something successful. At least that's the idea. So, I'm going to get started here working on outlining everything. And that will probably take me through the next few hours. And then I'll retire for the night. And we'll get started again tomorrow. It's just the way it goes. I don't know why I said that. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow. Here. There it is. Oh. Well, that wasn't too bad at all. It's 9:53. It's been roughly an hour, and I just churned out the outline for the demo. And of course, you spend as much time as I have working this world out in your head, and you already have kind of an idea of where you're going and what you're doing. So actually sitting down and putting it to paper isn't as bad as it would be for someone just starting out from scratch. So it's not bad. I think I got it pretty well balanced. It's currently 2.5 pages roughly. And in those 2.5 pages, I have him crashing his plane, meeting or picking up a supply drop. So the good guys are gonna fly in because, he was in a plane. He crashed, it blew up, all kinds of stuff. The only thing he was able to get was whatever was on him and a photo from the plane. That's it. He's got his trusty gun, and so he needs some supplies. So headquarters says, hey, we're going to fly in, a supply drop for you. It's going to drop down a couple blocks away from you. You better get to it first before the bad guys do. So pretty straightforward, right? Along the way, you're going to run into some guard patrols. I'm going to have some kind of floating, hovering devices that have been created. And you're going to fight everything using cover and probably going to have some kind of, if time allows, trigger objects. So, for example, let's say there's a marquee sign or something over, these few soldiers. You can shoot it and it'll come crashing down. The problem is that maybe you don't want it to do that because it'll make too much noise and alert guards down the street, and they'll come down and it'll get even worse. So there's a lot of factors I want to implement into this demo to give everyone kind of an idea of, it feels linear, but there's other things you can do. So, for example, you get to, let's say you go up a block. You get up the block and let's say there's a down tank that ran into a car and it's on fire, so you can't jump over it. But over here to the right, there's a shop that you can enter and go and enter it and go through a back door that leads you to an alley. You go down the alley, and the alley's blocked off from you going further up. You can't go to the right, the street's blocked off, and it takes you back to the left to continue on your way. And a lot of games will do cool things like, hey, if you went that way and instead of kept going and turn around and go back close to where it was blocked off, there might be, like a hidden object or secret object or something like that for you to collect. And so that's what I want. I want to vary the environment but keep you going in the same direction, because that was the idea. You land at your plane, you look up, you see the towers over there, that's where the bad guy is, and you have to go in that direction. And that's always going to be your goal. So you want this directional guidance, because I don't want to give you a map. Uncharted doesn't give you a map. Why do I need to give you a map? So, as long as you can think about it and use your directional senses, hey, if I go over here, go up this alley, take a left at the nearest place I can go left, get back to that main road and look up the road, I should always see the tower in the distance. Even if I keep you further down in the demo and I switch you back over to taking an alley, I still want you to be able to have line of sight of that tower. And that always keeps you moving in the direction of the tower, because the goal of the demo is to get to the fountain square. And so the next part of the demo, after you reach the supply drop, which of course, based on the amount of time you have, or that you take to get there, is going to result in how many bad guys are going to be there once you get there. So if you race, there right away, and there's got to be some kind of, maybe a volume trigger that I can use with a timer that says, okay, this person left here, but they reached this volume in this amount of time. These amount of bad guys will be at this location. So if it's 5 minutes, you're going to have 10 guys there. If it's 2 minutes, you're going to have 3 guys there. Something like that. You get the supply drop. You now have ammo, maybe a couple of smoke grenades, something like that, right? The next drop is going to come from headquarters, and they're going to say they have an agent in the field. And that, unfortunately, due to, the bad guys listening in, because everything's open, you're not going to have a secure channel. So they know this, and they tell you, here are the clues that you're going to have. And they're going to give you a set of clues that are going to guide you to the location where this agent is hiding. And it's basically a race against time yet again. But this time, instead of an inanimate object you're racing towards, you're racing to meet an agent. Now, if you make it to the agent in time before the bad guys make it and figure out the code and get there, then you're going to receive an upgrade to your weapon. Now, once you receive that upgrade, it's going to become night and day difference when you get to the next area. Because that upgrade is going to allow you to how should I put this, more easily defeat the mini boss at the third waypoint in the demo. So that leads us to the third point, which is going to be basically this a wider street. It's going to open up a little bit more, but there's going to be more obstacles laid out, and then this huge defensive wall barricade. And you're close to the tower, and you can put 2 and 2 together and tell that the fountain square is on the other side of this giant barricade. Unfortunately, there are soldiers that are lining the wall. There is basically a minigun, Gatling gun, entrenched at the middle of the wall, and there's this guy, and they got shielding up and stuff, and you have to figure it out, and it's like American Gladiators. You got to get through and get through get to the wall through the maze of stuff and navigate your way over there. And I'm not gonna have a time limit. It's just I had a time limit on the 2 other things. If you get there sooner, type of thing. But this is just strategy. It's going to be, hey, if I go this way, there's 3 more guys this way. If I take this way, there's 2 more guys up to 20 feet, and then there's 2 more guys over here. And the whole time you're working towards, taking out, the main turret gun, and then, the various soldiers that come around. Once you get up there to the wall, I'll probably make it something easy like climbing a ladder. You get up there, if there's any other guys, you shoot them, or you defeat the turret guy. I don't know how easy it's going to be doing grenades, like a grenade projectile system yet, and explosions and stuff. I don't know. Again, I haven't done stuff like that. There's all kinds of sequencer and all kinds of Unreal animated movie stuff that you can do now, but I just don't know if there's enough time. So once that happens, you're going to get down off the wall. You're basically at the edge of the fountain square, and you start to work your way up. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe he calls down to you, like it goes to a scene where it's like, the bad guy calls down, "I see you've made it," Wow. Yeah, and you realize that you're not going to win this. "Oh, yes, I am, down with tyranny," or some cheesy line. And then he goes, "I don't think so." Maybe he does the evil clap. And soldiers start coming in from the sides, and you go to maybe like turn around, and there's soldiers up on the wall again, and they're all aiming down at you, and he, the tyrant's like, "It's over, Jack, throw down your weapons and surrender." And you honestly have no choice, and you literally see our hero, throw down his gun and drop to his knees, and that's when it just like fades out. And then we're gonna jump 100 years into the future, and it's cold. It's an ice landscape. You're pulling back. There's snow blowing, but eventually you can make out that there's the tower, and you pull back further, and you can see there's a statue. It's not the same statue that you saw before. It's now Jack, and he's frozen. And as soon as you pull back and you see it's Jack, you start to move in closer, and you get close up to his face, and then you see, he's in ice, but like his eye blinks and looks at you, and that's when he's still alive. He's not dead. And so that's when it goes black, right from his eye, looking at you, it just goes black, and then the logo comes in, and that's the end of the demo. I think it's going to be a mishmash of Uncharted, Metal Gear Solid. I'm trying to think what else. Uncharted, Metal Gear Solid. I'm looking at games, and I'm like, But I think that's the emphasis. It's got a look of like Disney Pixar, but it plays like a Metal Gear Uncharted game, So, but yeah, there it is. I got it down. I have some more notes, but then because it's 10 o'clock, I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go to bed. But tomorrow it's then time to start fleshing that out a little bit more, and figuring out what exactly needs to be done. So that's it for me tonight. I am again exhausted and tired, and I'm going to bed. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow. I don't know the words. A huge thanks goes out to our patrons, as this video and all the other videos in the series wouldn't be possible without you. Thank you. And speaking of patrons, this video series wouldn't be possible without the support and help from our Patreon. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/PapalottiGames. You'll see on our Patreon that we update as much as possible with as much content as possible, hence the videos that you're watching. If you happen to stumble upon this video and you're not one of our patrons, come on by and become a patron today. Anyone who donates $1 or more will actually be able to play the game as soon as the build is ready. If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe to see more videos just like this by hitting that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.